So now this is a Massey Harris, and this, you'd pull this through the field, and this actually makes bundles of, I guess you'd say, it ain't really straw, it's actually the whole plant. Like here we have bundles of oats, and this is one of the first steps for threshing. So first you make the bundles. So anyway, after you make your bundles, some people let them dry out for a couple days or whatever. Try not to let them get rained on. Then you go through the field with a flat rack, and you throw them on the flat rack. This one's being pulled by a Farmall M. I should say IH Farmall M. And then you would pull your wagon of bundles over to your thresher. And you'd have a tractor over here. You'd hook it to the belt. You power your thresher. You throw your bundles in here. And then the thresher separates the straw from the seed. Here you can see the seed. And then over here they have another tractor actually powering this. Here's another Eagle. So the straw would come down through here, and this would be like an old chopper. This is an Algoma, made in Algoma, Wisconsin. So this would chop the straw up, and then here they're blowing it into this self-unloading wagon, pull-type wagon. Okay, so this is a John Deere AR. This is a 2-cylinder. Here's another AR. One's got the one was on steel when they converted over to run on the road. The other one's got the actual lugs. Here's a John Deere 320, John Deere 40, another 40. One looks like it's a standard, one's a row crop. John Deere G, John Deere A with duals and a wide front. John Deere 620, now this one's a little newer. John Deere 60, another 60, John Deere R, and a John Deere 80. So the 80 is diesel, the R is diesel. Okay, we have an Allis-Chalmers D21 Series 2 turbocharged diesel. This would be a little newer. This is probably 70s, I'm thinking. Allis-Chalmers 200. Allis-Chalmers 180 with what looks like some kind of side tank sprayer system. Allis-Chalmers D19. Allis-Chalmers D15 Series 2. Allis-Chalmers crawler. This one looks like it's a Model M. You don't see those every day. Allis-Chalmers WD-45 gas. Okay, this is a little, I believe this is an Alice Chalmers G, but usually they got a cultivating setup, but this one's actually got a sycamore on it.
My brother always worked at Casco. 11 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, he had this shit for quite a while. I had a guy responded for me. He couldn't have did a better job. Better than
Alice Chalmers CA with a, that would be a mounted corn planter. Alice Chalmers corn planter. That uses the Alice Chalmers style hitch. Here is a Ford 860. This is more of a newer utility style tractor with a mounted Ford corn planter. And this has got the 3-point on it. That's something Ford and Ferguson, there was a big lawsuit on that, and I think the Ferguson company won. Oliver Cleatrack HG with a push blade. I think this is more of a narrow gauge. You could get these, I think, wider. Okay, so here we have this would be a Ferguson 35. This is before Massey Ferguson came along. This one's also got the 3-point. That's one of the things that Ferguson, I think, came out with that was later basically adopted by all the tractor makers. And I believe this is a Ferguson cultivator. So now here we got, I think, a little newer version, a Massey Ferguson 35 Deluxe. And then they went to a red and gray paint scheme instead of most Fergusons that I know are just gray. This one's got a 3-point mounted rake. You don't see those every day. Oh, and it's PTO driven. Usually them rakes are ground driven. This is a Case DC4. Massey Harris 20. Massey Harris 55. That one's gas. Yeah, the 20 is gas too. Massey Harris Super 101, and it says twin power. I don't know what twin power means, but nice paint job on it. Oliver 1950. This has the Detroit Diesel 453. It says GM Diesel because back then they called them GM Diesels. And it's called a 453 because it's 4-cylinder with 53 cubic inches per cylinder. 2-cycle diesel. Okay, this is a Massey Harris 444 propane. I don't know if they call them or 444 or it's a newer version of the 44 or Super 44, one or the other. And this tractor actually runs on propane. Back in, like, the western and southern part of the US, propane was really cheap back then. It was kind of a waste product of drilling for gas and that. So they decided to make tractors that ran on propane. Case 930 Comfort King. This is before they would have merged with International Harvester. This is another 930. The difference must be one's a Comfort King and one's not, because one's quite a bit lower. Different fenders. Here is a Case 900 diesel. Case 930 with a blade. That's another Comfort King diesel. Case 500 diesel. That's another one you don't see every day. And this one was either at a tractor pull or is going to be in a tractor pull. That's why they have the tag on here. It says 8500 number 1. So that would mean this tractor would pull in the 8,500 pound class. Okay, so this is a Rumley oil pull. This looks like it ran on kerosene. This is I'm thinking this is before 1930 even. You can see the rocker arms are actually outside of the engine and the push rods. Oh, maybe the tag says here what year it is. 20 drawbar horsepower at 450 RPM. Okay, this is a Waterloo boy. This one also ran on kerosene. This was before John Deere. John Deere bought Waterloo boy. Underneath that bag's the magneto. You got to keep them dry.
Yep. They were wrong. Somebody had a brand new one of these pull up in their yard.
Here we have a Massey Harris. I don't know what the model is, but this is actually four-wheel drive. This might be one of the first four-wheel drive tractors. I don't know actually who had the first one of these. And behind it is a two-bottom plow. Oh, it is a Massey Harris plow, so that's a pretty neat combination. A Massey Harris plow and a Massey Harris four-wheel drive tractor. That combination's probably pretty rare. Here we have an Oliver 440. This is an offset tractor. This would have been after the Super 44. You can kind of drive drive off to the side, and then it was designed for cultivating like gardens and tobacco farming and stuff like that. There probably weren't a whole lot of them in this area, but collectors bought them and kind of brought them over into the area. Here we have an Oliver OC3 with a blade. This thing's actually pretty narrow. This would be probably pretty useful in like the woods or clearing snow off sidewalks in wintertime because it's so narrow. Oh yeah, there's also this tag on here. Don't use grease in your rollers. It's bad business. Okay, here we have an Eagle. This one also. So this would be considered kerosene, I guess, because it does have gas and kerosene. You'd start it on gas, then switch it to kerosene. Although nowadays you probably just run it on gas because gas is quite a bit cheaper than kerosene. Back in the day it wasn't though. So this looks like it's a Alice Chalmers all-crop Model 40 harvester. You'd use this for combining your grain, and you could actually harvest hayseed with this. Here is a gleaner. This is another pull type combine. That one's got a little wider header. Ooh, there's a wasp. Here's a Dearborn pull type combine. Let's get out of there. There must be a wasp nest in that thing. Massey Harris 33 diesel. Probably ain't a whole lot of these around either. This would be a 4-cylinder diesel. Here is a Massey Harris 55 diesel. This one's also a 4-cylinder, but this one, I believe the displacement's probably quite a bit bigger. Here's another Massey Harris 55 diesel. This one's probably set up for tractor pulling. Oh yeah. Here's an Oliver 4-bottom, well, looks like it's a 565 plow. It's actually pretty nice shape. All the coulters are there. It's not shined up, but still a nice plow. Probably could be shined up pretty quick. Somebody greased it. This is actually a trip bottom plow, so if you hit a big stone, if everything's not rusted up, it should trip, and the bottom assembly should swing up, and then you'd actually have to then, while it's in the ground, try and back up and then get the bottom back down, and then hopefully you'll pass the stone. Okay, this would be a International Harvester Farmall A. This is another offset tractor to be used for gardening, growing small row crops, stuff like that. Here we have a Farmall MD. This is a diesel. I should actually say it's a gas and it's a diesel. Right here you have your injection pump and your diesel side of the engine. And you come over here and you have your carburetor, your distributor, and your gas side of your engine. So this thing, you would start it on gasoline, and then once you got everything up to temperature, you'd switch it over to diesel fuel. That's how it went with the early days of diesel. There ain't a whole lot of those around either. Here is a John Deere MT. I don't know my John Deere's that good. It is a 2-cylinder. They're actually using a Delco Remy distributor on there, and they only have 2 of the holes open. Yeah, this must have been some kind of row crop tractor. Looks like it was probably out of Canada. International Harvester Super H. Okay, so they just fired up the thresher. Being powered by the Rumley oil pull. Back in the old days, they'd actually like have a couple farmers get together and they'd actually thrash like as a community, because as you can see, we got one tractor here powering the chopper, we got another tractor powering the thresher, and we got another tractor pulling the wagon. So you're already up to 3 tractors. Looks like we got rain coming. You can see after that cloud line there, kind of like 2/3 up on the video where it kind of evens out. That's rain. International 706. Now this one is a International Harvester McCormick. The row crops were called Farmalls. You can see that. And the standards are called McCormick's. And I don't really know why they had different names for them, but they're both IH. This is a Super W6TA. It'll be a torque amplifier. Here is a Super MTA with a torque amplifier. So it's basically a Super M with a torque amplifier. And this would be a wide front. Here's an International Farmall 200. Here is a International Farmall 100, and now this is an offset tractor again. This is probably after the Farmall A, a newer version of it. Here is a International Harvester Farmall M with a wide front. Probably a 1949, I'm thinking. Here is a Massey Ferguson 35 Deluxe diesel. This is probably a pretty rare tractor because there weren't a whole lot of diesels back in the day. And that would be a 1959, I'm thinking. Yeah, even in 59 there weren't a whole lot of diesels yet. Okay, the Oliver 440 I did, the OC3 I did. Oliver row crop 60. This one's got the improved seat on it. And the 36-inch rubber. 36 is rare on a 60. And this is one of the more earlier ones because it's got the lighter duty drawbar, I believe. This is the 4-speed because it's got the power lift pedal in between the two brake pedals, so that's a 4-speed. Oh, and you can see it on the shift decal, 4 speeds. Ferguson, oh, this would be a TO20. Actually, these were made, I believe, in England, and there they were TE20s. The TO means it went overseas, and the TE stayed in England, I believe. And this does have a three-point mounted Sycamore. Here is a Case VAC fully restored. Well, that's what the sign says anyway. Here is a Co-op. I think this is a Lars Big Boy. That's the tractor you don't see every day either. Alice Chalmers with a diesel. Looks like it was a Alice Chalmers B. Yeah, I don't think the Beast came as a diesel. A 4-cylinder diesel in there. Yanmar diesel. Here's a Massey Harris 101 Junior. This is a little crawler. I think there was a 101 Junior row crop wheel tractor too. But this is a crawler. The crawler's probably the more rare of the two. Someone stole the steering wheel off this one. Actually, you steer with these little levers right here. You want one side to stop, you'd pull on the lever, and then you'd stop that side's track. You want to turn the other way, you'd pull that lever and you'd stop that track. Reverse is a little tricky because you got to really think about it, because it's like backwards. Here is a Massey Harris 44 LP. Oh, liquid propane is what it stands for. So they basically took a gas engine and put the necessary stuff on to run on propane. You need that would be the vaporizer there. You basically run coolant through it, and you take your liquid propane, turn it into a vapor, and then feed it into your carburetor. And then the carburetor, you are mixing the air with the vaporized propane and running it into your manifold and into your engine. That's the big difference there. Here we have a Case steam engine powering a sawmill. You can see some of the waste steam coming out. So your steam engine's over there powering the flat belt. And I don't know if they have it. Maybe it's running kind of underground. And then coming over to here, powering your sawmill blade. And I believe your carriage and all that too. And here you also have the sawdust removal. Yeah, they're gonna flip that log and square it up. Yeah, the fire makes the steam, and then the steam drives the piston, and then the piston drives the wheel powering the belt. These things are all torque. They might not run fast, but they run slow, but they stay there. That's basically anything with steam. They're all torque. Yeah, it rained. I knew it was going to.